Hey guys, I thought I'd do a little quick live review of my two friends while we were playing some games. So this is Jacob on Arakni and Paul Van Drizzle on Cindra. I missed the turn one, but they blocked. It was just like a casual block from the Mario, and then just Cindra pushing some numbers. Right now we have Marionette's first turn. Starts with a blue, it's always decent. Gets Orb Weaver out. Ideally, a disruption card or like a stealth here would be nice. You don't have that, so it looks like it's going to be pure numbers. Oh. Intrigued. Gonna be an interesting one. I think it's correct to use this reaction because you don't want to be arseling like these cards that could be stuck there, and then since we're hitting them, they're not going to be marked. We'll just kind of be putting ourselves in an unfortunate situation, and then giving their like potential breaking points value, and maybe limiting like our own codexes. I think this was correct. Well, we've given the Cindra a 5-card hand, so they're in a really good spot to like push around 20 damage this turn, based on like how good it is. What we can do in this situation is we can look for information. So there's been some Cindra lists that run Furnace, which have more D-Reacts. Since we see the vest, you can tell it's not going to be that like defense heavy Cindra. They could potentially have still 3 to 6 D-Reacts. It'll be like a more normal amount. So decent start for our opponent here. For our Cindra player, not our opponent. I'm too busy live. My brain's already defaulted to seeing all Cindras as enemy. It's 3 go again, 4 go again. We let these hits. This is going to be a mass trigger. Oh, it's a mass trigger that doesn't use the flick. This could be one of those where it's like, if we block this, we're going to be committed to blocking around 3 of our cards. So if we block this, we're going to skip turn. Under the assumption that all of our opponent's cards now can like extend. So it might just be correct to allow the master draw here. Because we're going to have to be investing so many cards into trying to deny it, that we're just going to kind of fall behind. I can understand why there's a bit of a tank in this situation. It's a tough one. Obviously, we can't see the hand, so we're not like fully understanding. Actually, I could do something. I can open the stream on the second on my other monitor and have a look. Okay, so I'm looking at the Marionette's hand. It's upsticks, cut, toxin, and leave no witnesses. So if they were inclined to block this, they'd be giving a 2-block to this. Then they would have to potentially give helmet and another 2-block and like a 3-block somewhere. But then if they're all like big number finishes, it'll be really sad. But it looks like we've just opted for the. We're gonna do like 9 damage, maybe flick a dagger, then end on a leave no witness. Which isn't too exciting, to be honest. This might have been a hand where you like might think about folding. But I would have had the Discord stream up, but none of these guys have Nitro, so it would have been it's low low quality and it'd be rough to watch. Oh, so there's a finisher without go again. So we could have actually, in theory, blocked and then not been punished. Interesting. Well, I guess it depends on if the other card also has the extender. Oh, this would be a huge mark if we get it. Oh, we don't. The hand is snatched, blood. Pop it over here. Snatch, blood, strike, love. It's not good though. The hand doesn't really play well. But that's what the Arsenal might be like needed to fix this hand. So this could be a world where we are inclined to flick. Just so we can get the leave no witness. But like, we know our opponent hands isn't interesting either. But 10 damage now puts him to 16. And then we can potentially kill them with just a tunic turn next turn, so I don't mind doing this either. No codexes to like change 5-card hands is a bit sad. I think the Cindra here is really happy to just give up one of their free blocks on their legs. And then if they do have like a starter or a go again in their arsenal, it's really good. Having to block with 2 power cards, really sad, and then we've not been supplemented with any of the other additional power cards. So we've been like, this has been like a stunted game for the Marionette. Like now it depends on the next hand to see how it ends up. So the Cindra does this, and I think you just have to accept this is hitting. I think blocking might be dangerous, but I'm looking at the hand now, and it's to the point, cut for the same cloth, Codex of Frailty and Fate Foreseen. So I think we're gonna be okay trying to do like an equipment block on one of them. Maybe give up a 2-block, transform, potentially helmet, because we know they don't have any tricks. And then now that they've played the card, we definitely know. The Arsenal is Throw Dagger. Oh, the Fate Foreseen, if it was a shelter, would have broke this Cindra's back. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to put some music on for this. It was like an impromptu last second idea that just popped up. Ooh, the four draws into a 1 for 5, and he still has access to the flick in the chest. So because they've made the resource the Cinder player, so wherever we're running this, we know the hand, we know it's not a finisher. Is it to buy the daggers back? It's like, yeah, it's snatch in the hand. So we've used the resource to buy that. This could be an interesting line where you just let them draw, because the card's not going to get played. But because our hand is a Fate Foreseen and a Codex, we're like more inclined to do this type of line. I think, but just because of the fact that we don't have Clave. Yes. If we're blocking 4 either way, we might as well. Definitely. Okay, so we kept the card on top. The card is the lair. That means we're going to be able to mark them the turn afterwards. So if we're going to just kind of be accepting a medium to bad turn here, because unfortunately we don't have like ways to extend the go again, and we just want to use this Codex. The cards we're giving them aren't too exciting either, and we have our leave no witness, and they don't have that like piece. So even though that hand looked detrimental, we're actually in a good spot, because we're going to do this attack, put them down to 3 cards, or like even less depending on how they want to block, and then we're going to ponder a lair, which then lets us mark them, and then potentially helmet into Black Widow, and then we're just going to start chaining disruption until we probably kill them. So this game looked really detrimental for a while, but then it's now just 180'd into a way that we're going to be super solid. And I really liked the decision making from Jacob in this game. Like spotted the lines of knowing when to take damage and allow the opponent to draw, and then understanding when you have to fold the hands that just don't mesh well together. 'Cause that does sometimes just happen. One of the things we love and hate about card games is when the hands are really good and the hands are really bad. So Paulus has a decision. Paul has a decision here where he has to give up the card, go to 12, or just block it with chest and take the tempo we know about. But if he's inclined to give an armor piece, the value of the one cost drops as well, because this is how you pay for the one cost. So making the decision to block means you're gonna have to just might as well give up both cards. And saving the life is important, so you're not just surprised like randomly killed. So this turn, we're inclined to use our helmet and use the lair. So and the opponent doesn't have daggers. So if you just lair here, they can't get mass trigger. This is just a great spot to use the card in our arsenal. And then we can then use helmets for whatever we like on the last attack. And then it means that we can even save the blue in case there's like a scary on hit from that attack as well. This will let them buy back their daggers, but that doesn't really matter. We know that they have a Blaze Headlong in the arsenal. The best they can end on is a free. So currently the Arachni's hand is Codex of Frailty, Mark of the Black Widow, Pain in the Backside, and Stains of the Redback. So this looks like a really good slot to you don't even need to helmet in theory. You could just take the 5 and then you get to go like Pain Mark. If they block or they don't, you get to go Stains for go again. Get to attack with Pain in the Backside. And you get to then Codex and for Leave No Witnesses again. And then you'll only be taking 5 for that. If you wanted to turn your like our blue red back into a more valuable card, then we could use Helmet to block. But I don't think we're inclined to do so. So then yeah, Paul's realized that he's not get the Mass Trigger won't do much for him. We're trying to threaten it won't do anything really impactful. And because we could also just use our equipment to block it, which would then be more punishing. So he's decided to pass priority here and then just keep the card in arsenal and make the codexes potentially worse, knowing that Marionette players do run Frailty, and then some don't run Inertia into Cindra, but I like running Inertia into Cindra, so it just helps play around these type of lines. This blue Widow, this blue Redback's really funny because it it helps us play around a D-React. So if you did draw a D-React here, just be happy. I would still use the blue here because otherwise it's just going to get discarded to our Codex. So we're just doing we're doing 5, 4, and then 4 with 1 hit. That lair was really useful for us. That lair was like around 6 value because it made the mark online as well. So it was like, and then banished a card from someone else, and it then denied. There was like the card we were happy to block with to deny the actor. It just did all its jobs. But like having all our equipment here and we're reducing them back down to 3 cards, this looks like an extremely good game state. Now, if they want to keep, once again, if they want to keep the arsenal, it's only going to be worth 3 value, and that means they have to give us either a D-React or card and equipment. We could have sacrificed 1 potential damage to try and bait a D-React out of the opponent, but I think that's just thinking too much. Because as long as we confirm them on 3 cards, we're never taking 13. Like the worst thing they could have is like a Wrath, but they can't afford it as the 3rd card. And also the frailty then makes the Wrath, even if they somehow like had like attack and ignite into Wrath, it wouldn't matter because the frailty would give them the minus resources. So all we've done this game is we just keep limiting their cards, keeping up the tempo, just making sure they're never really in a position to present any like threats or lethal. This is like the scary and important hand now because we don't have them marked. So this block is indicating that we want to use these legs as an aggressive turn. So just to explain the hand, it's Kiss of Death, Scar Tissue, Fate Foreseen, Mark the Black Widow, and then we ponder the Knives Out. So we're actually just like in a really good spot. I would even have like potentially thought about Helmet, but I understand why we haven't. Helmet could have been interesting, but if we rolled 6, it would have been dire. I don't hate keeping it. So this Kiss is going to be worth 7 value from the Knives Out and the Scar. So it plays really into block D-React, which is a shame. So Scar Tissue, and then we activate legs. This is like a moment where like Snapdragons would have been better, but we don't know that, right? But the one block legs comes up more than the fact that these like little turns come up. But now this is like a really insane thing because now we've remarked the opponent, and we can do little things. So now we can do weapon.
50 right for qualification?
I would graphene first. So I think the graphene first would be good because you do 2 go again, and then you can flick the kiss for the mark.
I mean, it's like so niche.
But yeah, unless they have a prevention effect, they've just died anyway. But yeah, that was a really good game to watch. It showed us when we were a bit unlucky, had a bit of weaknesses, a bit of like its situations going badly. But we took some like good risks, let them hit when they had to hit, and then blocked with the hands, even though they did look really scary. Just accepting how the tempo of the matchup played, resolved it. I think I would class as like a correct resolving of how the game was meant to. I think there's gonna be another game, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, so now we have the Marionette playing first. The hand is this live out that's been pitched. It's Scar Tissue, Red Back, and Red Orbeaver Spinneret. I think this turn's really simple. It's you play this, you flick, you make an Orbeaver, and then I would go Scar Tissue and Stains. You could in theory keep the Stains because we have all these stealth attacks, and having like a go again link to them is like it feels really nice. I wouldn't hate. Hello. Sorry about that. My headset randomly died in the middle of that. Oh, hopefully that wasn't loud or annoying. Yeah, this is like we have like all the nice cards for turn 0 where we just get to throw damage our opponent's face, and we even get to make an Orbeaver and have the Orbeaver have on hit mark. These are like Chef's Kiss ideal. Even if our opponent like has a shelter here, we don't actually mind, just because we have the Scar Tissue. It reduces the red back value, so they could in theory like lock this out, but there's a high chance they have 2 blocks because it's like if they have 2 free blocks here, we're like really sad, but like if they do, they're just better than us. Thankfully, they're not. We still get a goal. Gonna mark them, get Arsenal. There's nothing else you really want. I always say that there's 3 things you want to aim for on turn 0. Deal damage, mark them, and make a Chalissa. If you can accomplish one of them, you've had a decent turn. If you accomplish 2, you're like very happy. If you get like all 3, you're like you have like an extra 5-10% win rate. It's crazy. So I'm looking at the hand now, and this hand is the most no block hand I've ever seen. We have like a Save a Bloodshed, a Mark of the Black Widow, Pain in the Backside. We're just gonna go. We're probably just gonna go Save or Attack, and then even like maybe Flick, based on how if they want to block or not. Yeah, our opponent's threatening the Mass Trigger on a finisher, so if they wanted, just perfectly fine. We could even start with the Black Widow first. I don't think I would, just because it gives them a chance of lock 6. I think I would just do the Saber attack 6 first. But this is an interesting line. I think so. I think I would take this 6, and then if they break legs, whatever they draw gets -1 value, and instantly buffs all of our like Leave No Witness disruption cards. So I'd be very happy to let them draw here. They're probably just gonna use the extra card to pay for their daggers. The draw isn't fake, but it's not real either. This turn's very. If I'm the Arakni player here, I think I would go Save a Bloodshed, attack for 5, go again. Draw the card, use a resource. We can like pitch into Clave. We can do Pain in the Backside to see if we want to pitch into Clave. If our opponent says no blocks, we then would flick the Charisma, rebuild another one, discarding the Prognosis in our hand, and then attack with the Mark of the Black Widow for 6, and then give it 9 with red back, and then Arsenal the card that we draw. And I think I'll be very happy with that turn. The opponent's currently doing a free on hit 4, but they've had to use that 1 block leg, so it's really worth 3 as it stands. There is an argument that we could block the Prognosis now, and then if we block with the Prognosis now, I would probably start with Mark of the Black Widow then. But then we make our saver potentially worse. I think it's just fine to let them have the 4 value. I think this next turn is just going to be really good tempo and do its job of doing a bit of disruption that we don't actually mind. Okay. Do they gain the resource? No, they don't. Match on the end. I guess now we're inclined to block because it's worth a lot more. It's disrupting them, and that's all we kind of want to do. And then now the Black Widow disruption's worth a lot more. And I think I would kind of still do the line I talked about, where I go Saver into the Graphene, draw the card, attack with the Pain. If they decide to block the Pain, I've already done like a Black Widow effect of making them lose a card of the hand. And if they don't, then I can make them lose a card of hand with the Black Widow. We'll see if Jacob does that line. Good. Clean play. Very, very clean. We drew a blue Orb Weaver, so we can still do the backup line if we need to pitch into Clave. I hope he flex if the opponent says no blocks. Opponent blocks. Okay, so now we just pitch into the Clave. I think this is a little greedy. This could play into getting really slowed down in this matchup. I understand why they've done it, and especially because we're going to be getting some more like leeway next turn. I just don't think this was a necessary choice that we had to make. That's necessarily a choice we had to make. You can see how it pays off. It's leaning more into the risky variant. Maybe Jacob feels like they're more behind And they are, but they are about to kind of get like a free turn off. And especially if the opponent tries to block 6, then we're going to be like extremely happy. I guess the reasoning is we have the red back. So we will never really brick with the red back. So as long as we draw the blue next turn, we always have a chance to like cash in this red. Never mind, I'm just assuming stuff. The red back was with 4, that's why we used it. That makes sense. We actually get slightly rewarded here. We've drawn Kiss, Scar, Stains, Red, and Stains Blue. I think this could be a position to maybe Helmet, but there's no need. Oh, we could do a really cool turn where we go like Kiss, Scar, Red back. They get marked. We attack with Graphene. They take 2. We attack with Graphene. We flick. They take 2. Then they get +1 and they take 2 again. It's a really interesting. It doesn't do any disruption though. So based on what happens here, we could think about maybe using Helmet to try and quote unquote high roll. Yeah, we're more inclined to use Helmet now, I guess. It's just give a card, give Helmet, don't roll into 6. Then we get to just go Kiss, Scar, their left mark. We flick one of the Graphenes away. I mean, we also on a red back for next turn. We then start the turn with them marked. Or we go Helmet, blue red back, do yeah, no. I think that's the only reasonable line at this point. Could block 6 as well and just keep the Helmet and just go Kiss of Death, Scar Tissue, flick one of the Graphenes. Be okay with that. Except we're not disrupting them. That's fair. This is like the safer line. I would class this up. No need to like fall into variance. And flick one of the Graphenes. Pick one, right?
Actually, no, go
True.
Kimbra.
Okay. Yeah.
I think I would have flicked here. It just means like our future orb weaves and stuff have value and other stuff. Yeah. He's went for a new line where because he doesn't want to keep because he doesn't have the extra card in his hand. This is a reward of blocking the 2, so we can just do the Tunic line now. We play more into D-Reacts, but that's fine. But then we get to like Arsenal the Kiss of Death and leave them marked, and then we roll Black Widow. We're screaming. If we don't roll it, we just use Helmet. Oh,
You're
Doesn't
rolling.
even-
That's what they say about me.
what a gamer!
Well, yeah.
Oh, well, I'm like in the Discord call at the same time. I'm like unmuting and muting it. Oh, what a funny thing. Oh, yeah, you guys probably hear it on. But this. Oh, my brain is not working at times. Oh, and it's such a nice hand, man. Oh, it's so nice. Because we like even get to punish the Huh? I guess I don't know why we blocked now. I guess we're just trying to get full value from the block, and we're probably giving them mask. It's just dangerous to block due to breaking point. Yeah, if they have the breaking point, we can't even do the cool turn. Getting low, but we're about to make them skip turn next turn, so it's fine. So the Cindra player should use both their cards because it's beautiful. I'd be a little bit inclined to block this, but it's like I think I'd be inclined to block this, but it then plays into the breaking point really badly. So the Cindra should attack you to present lethal. Oh, I think this is so greedy. Hopefully they can't block more than 10. But if they have like a D-React in their arsenal and they just block 6 D-React, it could be very scary. But see. They're like, I mean, they're like happy to block with chest a bit here. Game looks a little bit more scary. Oh, this is bad vibes, but we have to call the bluff. Oh, you're so confident in the D-React. 11 out. We're him! Oh my god, we're so him! This this line makes sense because our opponent didn't attack us when we were at 4, and every card either presents lethal or puts us in flick range next turn. So the fact that they didn't do it was like a really telegraphed that it's probably D-React. If also, I think if I'm Paul, I just when my opponent hits me for 7, I would have just passed. They've declined on the interaction. I would have just passed turn. This is a good helmet. Go to 1. But they lose their daggers. They're just really gambling. I think an equipment slot here was probably correct. I guess we're threatening lethal that Flick might us. In the backside. Potentially discard to the Arakni here, but I think we might just need to push the biggest number. Oh, discard here. Definitely discard. Nice. There's a world. We were meant to discard a different card so you could flick this. Oh, double D react. Oh, and the toxin. Wait. We are just so good at this game, actually. It's actually unbelievable. The mark as well. Oh my god, this hand is actually so insane. Oh, this is a little scary. You like randomly die to the auto dragon fire. I don't think some lists are reduced to cut it, but like a little bit worrying. Oh, he's gained the resource. I guess you were kind of always dead to that card. Yeah. That flick, tough one. That one block. There's like a blocker a few times. Then, ooh. Okay, so the finish is probably not iconic, and that's why they bought the resource. Oh, they bought the resource for fun. Oh, they're gonna attack for 1, and then that presents lethal. That makes more sense. Then we just block with flick knives. Wait. So we're presenting 12 on 2 cards. Just they have to like block 9 to love survive. And I don't think Cindra can block 9 consistently or will block 9. They have to put like a free block here minimum. And 6 to play around a +3. Any more to play around a +4. And playing around Toxin specifically just really hard. I think this is the correct block. Just have to like kind of hope they don't have cards. Whoa. Value per turn from the Marionette. 11.8 from. That was a crazy game. Crazy game.